How long do deployments last? Now, by deployments, obviously, we're talking about catastrophe deployments. How long do catastrophe deployments last? Listen, it is such a common question. Why do people ask this question? They ask this question because they want to know what they're in for, right? If you go out on a cat deployment, does that mean you're going to be gone for a couple weeks, a couple months, a year, a couple years? People just don't know. So how long do they really last? Well, it depends how freaking good you are. Let's be honest here. There are a few different factors involved in determining how long your catastrophe deployment is going to last. Let's talk about the external factors. These are factors that have nothing to do with you. You're probably working for an independent adjusting company. That independent adjusting company is working for an insurance carrier or some entity. There's a contract involved, and they are fulfilling that contract. And in order for them to fulfill that contract, they are contracting out people like you, independents, freelancers, 1099s, independent contractors. They're looking for you. Now, your deployment with that one company is only as good as the contract between your client and their client. If that contract is terminated, if it's pulled, if things aren't going so well and they pull the plug on the whole thing, they pull the plug on you as well. It doesn't matter how great of a performer you were. If you're surrounded by garbage, they may pull the plug on that, then your deployment's over. When would that deployment end? There's no way to tell. That could be a couple weeks in. That could be that could be months in. Also, what is the deployment for? Now, it could be a massive hurricane that hit Florida and wiped out. Hurricane Irma basically hit all of Florida, or it could be a focused little tiny area. It depends on the size of the storm. Now, I'll say that, but I'll also say this. A lot of people, even experienced folks, will look at a storm that hits land and say, oh, it wasn't much. It wasn't much because there's not a big nationwide deployment thing where all these people are undoubtedly traveling the country to get to this one area. But just because all these people aren't traveling at the same time to take a bunch of claims in one shot from one company, just because that may not necessarily be happening, that does not mean that you should not go and get a part of the action anyway. Time and time again, I've gone out on deployments, not with one company, not with two companies, but with multiple companies. And those companies combined together will give me the same volume that I would have if it were some massive catastrophe event where you can go to one company and they'll give you 100 claims just on arrival or soon as you leave your house. It's very much possible. If a hurricane hits land, category 1, if it hits Florida, it's not going to be a massive event because there's not going to be that many claims from it. Now, when I say not that many claims, what I'm talking about could be 10,000, 20,000, a low number like that, which will not trigger some massive catastrophe deployment, but is more claims than you could ever possibly handle in a month. And that's what you want to be a part of. So the size definitely matters here. Now, those are two external factors. But then you also have to think of the internal factors. These are the factors that you actually have control over. Of course, that is going to matter on your speed. How quick does it take you to get out there, to write up your report and all that sort of stuff? Now, these independent adjusting companies, most of the time, are graded based on their performance. You could understand that, right? They're graded by their clients. Their client, the insurance company, does not want to continue a relationship with one of their vendors if the vendor is constantly underperforming. So they keep an eye on the metrics. How long does it take that company to have one of their people contact one of their customers? How long does it take that company to have one of their people get out and inspect for damage? After that's inspected, how long does it take them to return the file? These are metrics that the insurance carrier are always looking at. You want to be on the right side of that, right? You don't want to be the person that's dragging those statistics down. If you begin to drag those statistics down, they're going to find you. All this stuff is tracked. And if you find yourself at the bottom, guess who's going to be the first to go? You. Because by you leaving, it increases their statistics and they begin to look better. So you don't want to be at the bad side of that. You don't want to be at the wrong side of that. So you need to be able to have speed. You need to be able to turn things around, but you don't want to have too much speed so that it negatively affects the quality of your work. Now, I've said this once before, and it's a shame that I'm saying it at all, but speed trumps quality. It's a shame. In a catastrophe situation, speed trumps quality. I don't believe that that's fair. I don't believe it's right. It's awful. However, undoubtedly, an independent adjusting company will ask you to hurry up. They will ask you to work faster. And they won't willfully tell you to sacrifice quality. They certainly wouldn't tell you to do that. But it will be a subtle suggestion that unless you want to have them continuing to hammer you with emails, phone calls on a file, unless you want that to happen, you better get that thing in. So I say that to offer a compromise. Don't accept more work than you can handle and return within a timeline that's acceptable by your client. Once you do that, if you tell them, listen, I can't handle the amount of assignments you've sent me. I can't handle them and return them to you within your desired timeline. I will be falling behind. If you're okay with that, I'll continue to handle these assignments. If you're not okay with that, I would encourage you to take these back. Now, they won't remember you giving assignments back to them when they need to make cuts. Because when they need to make cuts, when they need to send people home, here's what they're going to be looking at. They're going to be looking at the people that are driving their numbers down. They're not going to be looking at people who made a responsible decision. They're going to be looking at the people who made irresponsible decisions and are negatively affecting their company. So you don't want to be that person. You want to be there for the long haul, right? Don't be that person. You need to know ahead of time how much you can handle. And if you don't know how much work you can handle, start off very slow. If they offer you 100, if you're going out to your first catastrophe deployment and they offer you, if you're doing field property and they offer you 100 claims, take 50, take 25, take a small amount because you're only going to be inspecting 1 or 2 a day. You need to be able to stretch that thing out until you see that you're getting better at what you're doing. Then you can take on more. Don't sacrifice, don't put money today ahead of money this month.